What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. Can't do a Dolphins show without talking about injuries because the Dolphins got injuries. That's the reality of the team is that everyone has injuries. Everyone's banged up a little bit right now. I think the Dolphins have a bottom five in the league, if not the worst. Just a cacophony of injuries, right? So Coach McDaniel came out today to give updates on people who are injured because we want to know where are they in the injury recovery timeline. So Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Jalen Phillips, all day to day. Don't know if that means they're going to play in the next preseason game. Don't know if they're going to participate in the joint practice or not. They're day to day, which means we're taking it slow. No surgery on the timeline. There's no they're really hurt. Just being cautious. Totally cool being cautious. I don't know how much practice Tyreek and Jalen need at receiver. They've been in the offense for years. Tua obviously has a frequency with them already. Cool. I honestly don't want to see them unless they feel like I'm really good to go. Jalen Phillips is coming back from an injury. I feel even bigger about that. Like, hey, if you're not right a little bit, chill. We know what you can do on the field. You've been great when you've been on the field. If you're coming back, it's the last year of your contract. There's so much riding on this for Jalen Phillips and just for the team. Like he's so good when he's good. In the last year of his deal, and he still hasn't even like he's like here. But I think his skill is up here. I think he could be a 16, 17, 18 second guy in a year. I think he has that level upside. So day to day, stay healthy, chill out. Guys who are not coming back anytime soon: Andrew Meyer, who's our backup center, and of course Liam Eichenberg, who backup guard. They are. They said there's no foreseeable timeline, which that don't sound good. Not out for the year, which is good, but it's like, hey, mm, very much so. We may be in the market for picking up additional offensive linemen, thinking these guys may not be ready for a big stretch into the season. They're backup offensive linemen, but given the offensive lineman injuries that we currently have and the general injuries of the team, depth is super important. And when your depth starts getting hurt, you start getting to third, fourth string, you know, undrafted guy on a practice squad. It can get scary quickly. So not happy to hear about that. Darren Waller's in a whole different category. He's not expected to be at the joint practice with Detroit, not really practicing with the team. He's doing his own thing. He's still getting in shape, which I guess consists mostly of conditioning drills and just catching passes from the jugs machine because he's not catching passes from Tua. So I don't know exactly what's happening with that prep for the year. Um, I don't know if I'm getting nervous about it because I would like to see him just on a field, even if in a limited basis. Coach said he didn't want to rush him back. He didn't want to throw him to the wolves. We're cool. We're on the same page. Don't rush anything back. I want to see some level of progress. Like, what shape are you in that you can't be there at all? That's my question. Is it just a he's still learning the playbook, which I believe to be very much the case? Okay, what plays do you know? Can we run? Let's do. Can we do goal line? You should learn goal line first. Like, all right, let's do goal line packages. See him on the line, get up the ball. Like, just get a couple of those. All the other stuff, side adjustments in terms of like who you're gonna block, what side of the line of scrimmage you're gonna line up on, going to motion. That stuff takes time. But he doesn't know anything. Okay. I'm saying it because it's like I keep hearing that he's on his own time. He's getting back. He's getting back. I'm getting concerned that he might have an injury that they're not disclosing, and that makes me uneasy. I get getting in shape. I get I know in the playbook. No issue with either one of those. If he's hurt and they're trying to just keep it on the low, you can't be hurt before the year when you're known as the guy that gets hurt. You just can't do it. So that's my trepidation is that we're gonna get to right around week one, and then it's gonna be oh he's on the pup list. It's like why he's out for the next 4 weeks. Yeah, we just thought it was better to just give him some more time. Like more time. It's been almost 2 months. Yeah, just a little bit more time. Like I just my gut is telling me it's not on the up and up. I'm gonna leave it there. We're gonna move on. Like I mentioned, we have joint practices this week against Detroit, and we did this last week against Chicago, and it got a little messy, right? Chicago guys wanted to fight, wanted to be tough guys, wanted to do a little bit after the whistle. Detroit, I don't believe is that makeup. Dan Campbell seems to be one. He's Dan Campbell's a football player. Like if you look up football player in dictionary, it's picture Dan Campbell eating some grass. Like Dan Campbell's about that. He, I think, respects the game too much to like okay that kind of behavior. Not saying it won't happen just because in the heat of moments, I think there's probably a fight at every joint practice. So I expect there to be some chippiness, but I don't expect the level of flagrancy that Chicago displayed. What I'm looking for our team in the joint practice is our defensive line versus their offensive line. Now, Detroit's offensive line is not as good as it has been. They lost Ragnow in the offseason. They have a couple of new people like moving around. They still have Penny Sewell, who's arguably the best offensive lineman in the league. But their offensive line is still great, and their running game is stupendous. One of, if not the best, 1-2 punch in the league. I want to see with Zach, Kenneth, and Jordan on a D line, half of that offensive line. Like at some point, all three of these guys should be going against Pinay. And you want to know how good you are? Go up against the best at his position. Simple as that. I want to see, can you move him? Can you get penetration? And can you stop the run? That's what it comes. I think Jameer Gibbs is possibly my favorite running back in the league, mostly because of what he was at Alabama. I like Alabama running backs. Whatever. Those guys are great. I just like the way he runs. And he was my fantasy running back last year. And balled out for me. I can have fans outside of the Dolphins, all right? I'm a big Jameer Gibbs fan. I think David Montgomery is the perfect complimentary back for any scat back kind of person. If Ollie Gordon can become what David Montgomery is, we got something special. He is the perfect, hey, just give me the carries you give me. I'm not gonna make any waves, sign the contracts when you put it in front of me. Always getting extra yards after the touch. Just like the consummate professional, tough guy in between. No. He's the guy that I think the Steelers thought Najee Harris was going to be, but just never was. He's the perfect complement back. This is a great challenge for our defensive line because if you're getting blown off the ball, they're getting yards. Jameer's getting 5 yards a pop anyway. But David Montgomery, you might engage with him at 3 yards. You're not going down at the 3 yard mark. That boy's falling forward. He's probably pushing you back a couple yards. This is going to let us know how physical are they on that side of the trenches. Detroit's defensive line is an elite. Aiden Hutchinson possibly is. He's coming off an injury as well. The rest of the D line, I'm not like wowed by. So our offensive line should be pretty good against their D line. At the very least, it should stalemate. I don't see any scenario where their D line is dominating ours. But their O line could overwhelm ours. We have two rookies that are either starting or getting a lot of PT on the D line. And I'm just looking forward to seeing how those guys hold up against that offensive line because Detroit, they live physical. Them in Philly, you know what we about. It's lining up. We're bigger than you. We're going to push you. We're not going to stop running. What are you going to do about it? So I'm really looking forward to that matchup. I think it could be the most telling. And if those boys stand up and they don't get pushed around and they make that running game tough, that's as good a challenge as you're going to have. And it's going to be probably a good omen for the upcoming season. Now we're getting near fantasy football time as well. I know some of y'all don't care about fantasy. Hopefully you stick around for this segment. If you don't, if you do, like let's rock. We're talking about who is the biggest like fantasy guys on the team. Devon Achan, without a doubt, is the number one guy on our team. I think he's probably running back 4 or 5 in a lot of respects, as low as 7 or 8, which is still like a top 15 pick. He's going to be great. I think he could put up stats as good as anybody else. I think he's clearly better than like a Brees Hall and like guys in that tier. Probably not as good as Bijan and Jameer and a couple of those guys, but Derrick Henry, Saquon, he's like to me he's right below those four. The Tyreek Hill thing's interesting though. I remember a couple years ago when Tyreek Hill was wide receiver one in my league that year. Tyreek was the number one pick, and I was like, "Man, they got Tyreek Hill. I really wanted him. I had the third pick, and I think it would fall to me. I ended up getting, I think Justin Jefferson that year, but but Tyreek was the number like 1, 2 receiver that year. Tyreek in the most recent ratings I've seen is around the 14th ranked receiver, which kind of blew my mind. But then I started looking at the names and I was like, well, I guess I kind of see it. Yeah. So at number 14, that makes you a tier three, bubble tier four wide receiver. And that sounds crazy to me because Tyreek Hill is Tyreek Hill. I couldn't quite quantify. Like, is he really that low on the totem pole? Like, he's basically right behind Garrett Wilson and right above Jackson Smith and Jigba. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, his upside is clearly bigger than both of those guys. He's just one of the fastest receivers in the league, and he can take any route to the house. Jackson Smith and Jigba is not as fast, but he's clearly the number one for Seattle. And Garrett Wilson's the number one for the Jets. But then that means you think that Justin Fields is going to be throwing the ball well all season. And that's a different conversation. So I think Tyreek could probably be at least one number higher, jump him at 13. But that's still behind the St. Browns, the AJ Browns, the Puka Nakuas. Like, there's a lot of guys where I'm like, if I had to like be dependable, they might be over him. Now Tyreek's upside is a top five receiver. If Tyreek lives up to what he's been the last 4 years, talking a 1,500-yard receiver, double digit touchdowns, like that makes you're right in that AJ Brown category, maybe even a little bit above that. That's at the highest, and that would depend on one, a healthy Tua, of course, but two, a renewed and healthy Tyreek. Banged up last year, still look fast, especially in game one, but didn't look as explosive the rest of the year. I hope he sees all this stuff because I think this is the perfect motivation for a guy like Tyreek who still thinks he's, I don't know, top five, six receiver in the league. Like he can't think he's lower than that. Like his ego is healthy. And I think just like with the rankings yesterday, like for Tua being a tier three quarterback, I think for Tyreek, he should be like, yo, I'm about to go show out. Draft me as a tier three receiver if you want. Draft me in a third round, which is where, that kind of will land. Like late second, early third. If Tyreek's available in your third round of your draft, you got a gift. Because I think Tyreek's going to try to go out here and ball out. He wants another contract. We know that. And Miami, I think, doesn't want to give him one unless he just proves to be so, you know, he's just so electric. We got to give you the money. But I think they clearly are like, hey, we're going to see if you got the goods. And if you draft him in fantasy, I think you might be pleasantly surprised. Um, I can't believe he's at a tier three receiver, like just 2 years removed from being arguably a number one receiver. So if you play fantasy football, second round, first round for sure, I wouldn't draft Tyreek. Late second, maybe early third, jump on it. I think there could be some value there. Jumping into the comment section, and someone asked me today, Chris, we know you like the secondary work. Who are you looking forward to seeing in the secondary for this upcoming game, joint practice? I'm looking at Dante Trader Jr. He is a rookie that we got in this upcoming from this past draft, and he's been out recently, so he's kind of gotten passed in the pecking order by a number of corners, like Elijah and a lot of people in the secondary, safeties and all that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can be because when he came out of the draft, the biggest thing they said was crazy athlete, can play around the field, free, strong. You know, he's got a lot of upside. You can move him around. You can actually play him the way we kind of play Minka Fitzpatrick, where he's not just free safety 30 yards back. He's not just in the box. He's a little bit of all of that stuff. If you had to match up one on one with a tight end, you can do that too. Like I like the idea of having two super versatile people in the secondary. Like if you have one, like Jalen Ramsey was this. Jalen Ramsey played everywhere. He would blitz, man up, deep safety. Like he was just roam. Wherever you thought he can fit, he can fit. Kyle Hamilton is another good example for Baltimore. Kyle Hamilton plays wherever Kyle Hamilton wants to play. We've seen this way back in the day with Polomalu, Ed Reed, those kind of guys where if you can play in a lot of positions, then that makes you a more versatile player. Now he's a rookie, so we expect there to be some growing pains. We expect one, he's got to beat guys out for position. I mean, he's probably above the Storms and those guys on the pecking order in the secondary, but he's been out. So you can't be above anybody if you're not playing football. And as a rookie, we know there's a learning curve, learning the playbooks. You know, the physicality difference between the NFL and college is a big difference, especially when you're tackling people. Like coming up and tackling a 210-pound running back versus a 225, 230-pound back, different. Different. There's easy games in college where you're like, all right, we playing, I don't know, Sam Houston State or, UTSA, some whatever. You can kind of like talent your way through it. Even bad teams in the league will run you over. As much as I don't even despise, but as much as I publicly hate on the Saints, I'm not trying to tackle Alvin Kamara in the open field. Like, he gonna break all my ankles. You think Taysom Hill's easy to tackle? Like, it's a big jump there. So this is why you got to get back on the field. But y'all know I love versatility in any position. I don't like people who are like, I only do the one thing unless you are the most elite at that one thing. Like, if Kenneth Grant becomes the best interior D lineman because he just can't be moved, he's 330 now. Let's say he gets heavier, 350, and he's just so strong in the middle that teams just have to run around him. I don't need you to be a good pass rusher too. You did the thing that you did. Y'all not getting past this wall. It's big me, two hands, two players. Good luck trying to move me. Totally fine with that, right? If you add, oh, I can also rush the passer. Cool. I like that. But do your own thing. If you play in a secondary, yes, you can be like the traveling man corner, and that's like you could be Darrell Revis. Hey, I play man coverage. I follow your number one. That's what I do. Don't talk to me about nothing else. I'm not. I don't. Maybe Darrell Revis blitz. I don't recall seeing him blitz that often. He's like, I do coverage. I've seen safeties that are just like, yo, I'm 30 yards back. Ain't nobody getting behind me. You can do anything in front of me. You're not getting behind me. And then we've seen the safeties that are like, I'm going to be 20 yards back and just sprint to the line of scrimmage. And I want to be more involved in the tackle game. Like Buda Baker is probably a good example of that. So if Dante has the potential that we thought he had when we drafted him, and before he got injured, he was playing really well. I was trying to establish himself as a starter possibly. Then I'm here for it because we have issues in the secondary with injuries, and there's still we still don't know who's rising to the top. We obviously know that Minka's going to be there, but everybody else, it's kind of up for grabs. Like you can, I mean, Sherfield, I think has done well for himself, but doesn't mean that job's not as far from being on lock. Like you can any one job outside of Minka's is kind of up for grabs. So if you've been playing well, the team believes in you. You go out there and show well. We get in the game, you show well there. You very much can be a line to start. I'm here to see it because we need some good luck in the secondary. I don't know if my heart can take any more guys getting hurt in the secondary. It hurts my spirit every time. I don't want to see it. But as always, guys, thank you for tuning in to Dolphins Daily. We appreciate the love and support. Thank y'all for likes and subscribes. We'll see you next time on Dolphins Daily. Peace.